Hey, John here. Here's lick of the day number 18. This one is an E melodic minor neoclassical thing. And as usual, you can find the link to the tab in the description below or on the screen. And also, as usual, I'm going to play it through once slowly and then break it down. So we start here on the 6th fret of the A string. So the melodic minor scale is basically a minor scale, but instead of a flat 6 and a flat 7, we push them back to the normal natural version of them. So you get 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I've seen this described as it's like a major scale with a minor third. And while that's correct, I think it can send the wrong message because it's not really a major scale, right? Because if you lower the third of a major scale, you get a minor scale. So I think it's better to see it from the perspective of a natural minor scale. You can also see it as like a brighter melodic, a brighter harmonic minor scale. And when I say brighter, I just mean that there's one more note that's natural. So harmonic minor scale would be 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, and 7. But like we said in this case, we have the natural 6 and 7. So that's a bit about the actual scale itself. And we start here on the 7th of the scale. And we're gonna go up 3 notes per string in this shape. So we're gonna go 6, 7, 9. Then we have 5, 7, 9, 6, 8, 9, 7, 8, 10, and finally 7, 9, 11. Then we're gonna continue up on the E string, but we'll get to that later. So basically I start with a downstroke and just strict ultimate picking. Now from this point, I go straight into the ascending groups of 4 Yngwie type sequence. And I call this the Yngwie sequence because it's on a single string. Al Di Meola used to do this stuff on, adjacent strings way back in the day. But Yngwie's thing is to do the one string, and I think it's a really cool sound, and it can really help you with position shifts as well. But if we number the notes from left to right, 1, 2, 3, the sequence goes like this: 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's it, 4 notes, 3, 1, 2, 3. Move up to the 12th fret. Now we're gonna get 9, 11, 12. Same sequence. Move up again to 14, 12, 11. And then we end up here on the 15th fret, which is the minor third of the key, which also happens to be the start of the arpeggios. So again from the beginning. Maybe worth mentioning that when you come up here, that's where you sort of you start the sequence from this note. So it can feel like you're repeating these notes because you are, but I see them as a separate thing. So I see it as an ascending scale, and then from this note, like that. All right. So from here we have an E minor arpeggio, which is the 1 chord of the key. And then we're going to go into a B major arpeggio, which would be the 5 major chord of the key. So the arpeggio looks like this: 15, 12, 12, 12. And then the next arpeggio looks like this: 14, 11, 12, 11. And the sequence we're going to use, we're going to go like this. So we start with a downstroke, pull off, up, down, 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 up, pull off, and then you can either go with an upstroke, which I tend to do, or a downstroke, doesn't really matter. You have a pull off, so you can get away with whatever you want. But I do up, and then pull off, up, down, 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 up, pull off. So And this position is quite tricky to get clean because you have the strongest harmonics here. So you really need to work on cutting the notes short when you practice slowly. Even though it sounds like shit when you do it, but when you speed it up, it sounds better. And again, if you're not used to the barring thing, you really should get used to that. Because trying to do this kind of thing, I don't think that's very practical. So after that, we go down this full 6-string E minor arpeggio. So basically we go down the same arpeggio shape we already did. Upstroke, pull up, up, then we continue down and end on this note. So that's basically it. So I'm going to play it once more slowly and you'll see what we have. As far as practicing this, you need to get each of the sections down, obviously. But for this ascending picking run, for example, it can be a good idea to figure out the remaining positions of the melodic minor scale. And you do that by simply moving up a fret, and then going on like that. And I think it's worth doing this without looking at any sort of tab. You can just listen, because you have sort of the blueprint here, sound-wise. Right? And if you just take it one string at a time, you should be able to do it, because you have that, and then you just move up. So basically, the last 2 notes in the previous position will be the first 2 notes in this position. So it's only 1 extra note, and you will find that note on the next string. So and then once you have this one, you can repeat the same process. You will learn infinitely more by doing that than just looking at, Googling 3 note per string melodic minor patterns in E minor, which you probably can Google and find. But like I said, if you work for it a bit more here, you'll remember it much better, and that's the whole point, I think, because if you're gonna play the instrument, it's not very practical to have to Google scale positions or whatever. So doing it this way will help you more. And for the single string sequence, same thing. You can just take the sequence through any other scale that you know. It's better to stick to 7-note scales, because then otherwise the stretches might be really big or wide if you do a pentatonic thing, even though you can do that as well. But if you know the major scale, do that all over the fretboard. So if I do it in C major, and so on. So that's a really good way to practice, and doing it really slowly as well, which I've said a million times already, but I'm going to keep saying it. And the arpeggios, I really like moving these type of arpeggios chromatically. So if I find a pattern that I think is lacking, let's say this one is annoying, I would start that down here and just play it as slowly as I need to get it perfect. Just move it up the fretboard like that and back. So you get these small practice routines on the specific things that you have problems with. And I wouldn't do only this. I would also have a separate practice routine where you cover more things, basically. So you have a practice routine for alternate picking, if that's what you're into right now, or if you really want to up your sweep picking, you might go all in on that for a while and basically let the alternate picking maintain itself. I think that's a good approach, because if you be a bit obsessive with the technique you want to develop, because you need a lot of reps, and if you can get a lot of reps in a shorter amount of time, I found that leads to better development. So don't be scared of being out of balance when you practice, because If you want to improve a specific thing in your playing, it's a really good idea to spend a lot of time there for a less amount of time, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 months, whatever you deem necessary, and then you can move on to something else to focus on. So you have, if you have 3 hours to practice, maybe you would spend 2 hours on a specific thing, and then the remaining hour you play a little bit of everything. So you're basically gonna keep the other stuff up, but the main thing that you want to develop will really get somewhere during that time. And I find that more exciting than just trying to have like a completely flat schedule, in the sense of like, I'm gonna do 10 minutes of alternate picking, 10 minutes of sweep picking, because that won't really improve your technique that much, at least not in the short term. And I think it's more of a maintenance thing than anything else. So if you try this stuff and you feel that you haven't had any success with a particular technique, try just upping the time while spending a lot of time doing good reps. If you do shit reps, that's what you're gonna get. So that's about it for this one. If you have any questions, just post them below. Otherwise, have fun with this one and see you in the next one.